Hey everybody, Anthony 4x4Ds. I wanted to do a quick video showing you what we do with the valve covers on the 1KDs when we're doing an injector job. This is the same for every injector job. It's been the same for years, and I'll give you a few other tips to avoid oil leaks since you're going to put it back on and you don't really want to be taking off and risking contamination to the injectors for another 7, 8, 9, 10 years at least. Bit of rubbing there from the wiring loom, something to be aware of. So we're going to talk about a few things in this, but the main one was leaks from cracks in the valve cover, maybe a bit about why valve covers leak. So you've got your top seals. I call these the top solenoid seals because it goes around the solenoid on the injector. And these are your nozzle seals at the side for your injector inlets, right? Watch some videos in the playlists, injector information. If you haven't heard that one before, thought I'd throw that out there. See, this is a little insert. There's meant to be another one here. Generally, that has come out when people have over-tightened them. This is the 301K vehicle. So, it's been worked on before, right? But what we do, we get it off. We give it a really good cleanup. Ballpark, they're worth about $400, right? I mean, this slab of Heineken's only worth about 50. So 8 slabs of Heineken for one cover. It's just crazy, isn't it? So there's a couple of things we can do if it is cracked to save you money, but I'll show you some cracks quite often, and there's other videos, and this isn't necessarily going to be the one you want to see. Quite often they'll have a crack across the back corner here, and it's only a slow leak, and it will just weep out slowly. Oil, one drip of oil there, and it's going to sort of go everywhere, If things aren't clean, if this cover's not clean, you've got to clean and molly coat these. These seals, they're going a little bit hard. They're not bad. They wouldn't leak if they were clean. We put molly coat on there. But these ones, if we use this cover, we're going to put new seals on there, okay? So what's wrong? We've got to check for cracks. Sometimes they're cracked here. Sometimes they're cracked there. Sometimes people overfill oil and it leaks down there and it runs down there and it makes it look like an oil leak, but it's not. Sometimes people don't align the injectors correctly and these nozzle seals leak. Obviously not what we do. Just watch the videos. Some people don't clean these seals and put the molly coat, and therefore they'll leak, okay? But if you watch the videos, you just won't have any of these problems. It's worth watching. Okay, now, this one. We need a light on. We kind of need a light on. I'm trying to find a crack. I'm pretty sure. Here you go, there's a crack. Is it better with a light on or worse? But anyway, see that crack there? So, let's talk about it, because some people are going to go, so you want to sell me a valve cover because it's got a little crack on the outside? Okay, well, fair call. This is a common one at the back on the driver's side, second one in, you'll see it. That's caused when people over-tighten it, I believe. Simple as that. They've got these crush tubes here, and literally people try and crush them. You can see how flat that one is on the top compared to maybe, another one. I don't know, it's hard for you to tell on the camera, but anyway, 9 Newton meters is what these bolts are meant to be. That's what we use. I don't care if it's 9, 10, 11, 8, 12, somewhere there anyway. Because once that tube makes contact, the other end of it hits the head, the alloy head, right? So all you're going to be doing is putting marks cutting into the alloy head. Maybe at the end of the video we'll go and have a look if I haven't waffled enough over here. But so you're going to go, it's cracked on the outside, so it's only going to leak on the outside, right? Because the gasket's on the inside and the crack's on the outside, clearly, right? So you don't need to replace the cover. Well, you're right, except that as long as you can tell me why, when the vehicle comes in, there's a sweat of oil that goes, it covers this whole area and it goes up to there. Now, it's not a leak, it's not pooling oil, it's not really bad, it's just a sweat. So this is why I did this video. I want to explain what you got. So when you've got a crack like that, this one, as you can see, there's no stain there. There was no oil there. There's nothing. This one's good, but there is a little crack there. Personally, I'm not worried about it. I wouldn't change my cover for a crack like that. But then again, I probably would, because then I'd have a nice new one on my car and I'd sell this one a second-hand half price because it's not too bad and it doesn't leak. Now, there's another crack somewhere. Just got to find it. Here we go. Another one at the front corner. Right. Same story. It's on the outside, right? Now, these, it's not as common that they get cracked on the outside corner. Again, people over tightening. Once again, I don't see a crack on the inside anywhere where it's going to leak. So, firstly, I'm not worried about this valve cover leaking. You can see it's a bit dirty, that sort of thing. It seems to be a waste of $400. You got to not overcapitalised. When you've got a vehicle, it's 06 with 120k and it's going to go travel around Australia. We want it to be reliable. This is going to be minimal oil leaks, in my opinion. A bit of a sweat, if anything. Probably nothing, to be quite honest. And any oil, you can see oil stains here, most likely from people overflowing the oil when they do oil changes. So be careful of that, okay? And there's a cover that goes over this cover and it bolts down onto there and a couple of other bolts. And there's another vehicle here, actually, and these bolts are loose because it went somewhere else and got the injectors done. But that'll be in another video. I'll talk about that later. There's going to be a bit of injector talk again because we're seeing some jobs come in where people haven't done things right. We've got videos changing these seals, how that's done. Again, check the playlists, injector information. So let me know in the comments, if this was your valve cover, would you replace it because of those two little cracks that are probably going to cause no problems for 400 bucks? Or would you just reuse it? You're pretty confident because the gasket's on the inside of where the cracks are. Because that's how I feel about it. Now, when there is a crack across the back corner here, you got options. We can replace it, or we can do a dodgy RTV fix-up, saving you 400 bucks. You know, a box of this. Look, I don't drink that. That's the main assistant that does all the work, mate. He drinks that, but that's cool. Bring that, because I don't drink. I don't know what these bottles are doing sitting here, but anyway, right, this sort of stuff covers things like when I've got to go and put the RT cleaner, you know, and whatever, and then the cover goes on, you don't even see it, mate. Nobody even know, and then no more leaks. So saving you 400 bucks. So that's what the video is. If you had the hairline crack across here, that makes a bit of a sweat and it makes a bit untidy over years, it'll be all, you know, there'll be a bit of dirt and everything stuck to that. Do you spend 400 bucks and put a new cover on, or do you just put a bit of RTV? And in this case, I'm not putting RTV there. It'll be just untidy. If that actually leaks and it's worse than what we thought it might be, then you could probably RTV it later, but I just can't see this being a leak. Now, I mentioned in another video recently, don't be confused with the engine sits on a bit of an angle, right? Kind of, let's exaggerate it, you know, like that, the front up. So if you were to spill oil there, where do you reckon it's going to go? It's going to go along the thing. It's going to hit those tubes. It's going to come up those tubes and put a sweat around there, down along the gasket a bit more, and it's going to hit that again. Same thing here. And maybe the same thing here. Once it gets to those tubes, it's going to look like it came from the nozzle seal and went that way. Anyway, the person that's happened to, hope they contact me because I'd really love to see the vehicle because I can't remember who was that. Who was that? Because there's oil, seems to be bloody everywhere in the photos. So I'd really love to have a look at it because this is how we roll. New gaskets here, all genuine, new gasket underneath, talk to specification, never had a leak. They just don't leak. End of story. They just don't leak. So if there was one leak, like a sweat here because there was a crack there, okay, fair enough, no worries. So we can discuss that about how it just doesn't really matter, to be honest. Not worth doing all that work it would take to replace the cover. But this is what we do. We check it out. Anyway, that's what we do with the valve covers. I suggest you do the same. Like I usually suggest, turn the bell on, subscribe, hit the like button, and we'll catch you on the next video. And the guy that brought this and this, he was already in the good books because you could tell he's a top bloke, but he's even more in the good box because at the end of the conversation, he whipped that out. So there you go. Catch you in the next video, people. See ya.